Fernandinho now for Sané, missed by Jesus, and Bernardo Silva sends it in the bottom corner.
Aguero, weaves his way through, it's still Aguero, he plays to Sterling, he's put back across and Aguero finishes to move off, 2-0 to Manchester City.
Roars for Manchester City to come forward from the fans. Kevin De Bruyne looking to keep going. Now the cross comes in, and there's the opening goal from Riyad Mahrez.
Slipped into the left channel. David Silva squares it, and there is the opening goal. It's Kevin De Bruyne. Beautiful back heel. De Bruyne tries to return it. It's been taken on by Aguero. Aguero smashes that in. Here's Aguero. Aguero shot into the top right corner. 2 goals for Aguero. Here's Aguero. Aguero plays to Bernardo Silva. Just seconds after coming onto the pitch, Bernardo Silva raises the score to 4-0. Set up by Aguero. Foden goes for the strike, and he beats the goalkeeper. The man in form.
Haaland's through on goal. He's got Steele in front of him. He gets round Steele. He lays it off to Foden, and Foden puts City in front.
Bending strike into the net is from Julian Alvarez. He has scored once again, and this time it's as an impact substitute.
Now City are looking to come forward. Haaland's looking to get there. He will do, and they'll score. It was a long ball forward, and Haaland was just too strong. He's taking quite a short run up. He steps up and puts it into the corner of the net. Now here come Brighton, shooting chance, and they've scored. Fantastic strike from Trossard. Towards the edge of the penalty area, onto De Bruyne, shooting chance. What a strike! What a strike! Kevin De Bruyne. That is an absolute beauty.
Hello and welcome to Matchday Live after the international break. My name is FG and I will be pitchside with loads of special guests. We've also got special surprises for fans, catching up with an Olympian and the return of Big Andy Morrison. For now, we're going to head back to Cel in the studio and I'm going to get some pictures.
FG, a very good afternoon. Welcome back to the Etihad Stadium. Goodness me, how good does it feel to be back at our home? It's been a minute. My name is Cel Spellman, and it's so great to be with you, and so great to be with today's guest sitting next to me. We've got Dakota, we've got Steve, and we've got Paul. So great to be with you. Welcome back to Matchday Live, Dakota. Big win for you. And big final fight to come. How are you feeling?
I'm good, yeah. I'm super happy after getting through to the next stage. But yeah, I'm just excited for the final now. I'm ready to go already.
I mean, we were actually talking about it off air as well. I mean, an amazing performance from yourself. You must have been delighted with that.
I was really happy, and I was actually happy to get a little bit of a longer fight this time. Normally I finish the fight in like the first round, so to get like a good 3 rounds and then still get a stoppage at the end of it was just like a bonus for me.
Is that something, I guess, you kind of want that experience as well, I guess, to have, both sides of it?
Yeah, of course. I always say, like, we don't get paid overtime, so the quicker we're in and out without any injuries is better, but at the same time you're not gaining the experience that you need for them. You get put in a tough fight after that and you're not prepared for it because you've not had the rounds. So I got the best of both worlds this time anyway. Well,
listen, I'm speaking for all Manchester City fans and say we were buzzing to see that, and obviously we're going to be keeping everything crossed come the big fight. Steve, you had a rainy day up at St James's Park before you went away. You were all dry now, everything all right?
Just about dry. It was wet and windy. We were the Wally's with the Brollies, to be quite honest, but thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a good experience to do that pitch side thing. Obviously, the result wasn't the right one, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Lovely stuff. And Paul, how are you, sir? You well?
I'm good, mate. Good. Glad to be back at the Etihad. It seems like ages since we've had a home game. 4 away games in the bounce. There is as well, yeah. And I'm looking forward to today.
Just a quick one, the players, obviously you play wherever, but feel that a little bit and be they'll be ready to have a game at home again, having been on the road a bit. Do you feel that?
100%, especially a record here. And I think the atmosphere, Man City fans have always been great, but especially over the last couple of years here. And we're walking in here at 1:45, Kel, and we're saying how buzzing it is outside.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 years ago it would have been empty. It would start getting busy around about 2 o'clock. But the fans are really making it an unbelievable atmosphere before the game, during the game, and after the game as well. And the players, don't care what anybody says, the players really appreciate that.
For the fans, we're obviously aware. I mean, it's an amazing feat. We've never gone 2 in a row of losing, and more than 2 in 5 years.
Yeah.
That has happened. How are you feeling about today's game? Nervous, excited? Where you are?
I'm nervous, but I'm nervous with every game. And the 2 losses in a row, we always have a little bit of a dip every season. But I'm not worried about them at all. We've got such high standards. Everyone wants literally us to keep up what we've done last season, but. We're playing well. It's just people get a little bit worried, but I'm not.
That's what we like to hear, Dakota. Fill me with confidence. I guess that's it, Steve, as well. I mean, it was very unlucky, that Arsenal game, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I think, let's be honest, we're taking the kind of blue tinted glasses off. I think there should have been a sending off in that one. I think we're fortunate not to get that, but. Yeah, listen, there's going to be games where you're not going to be at your peak all the time. It is difficult because we all know the Premier League is a tough league. But just like Dakota said, it is a case of we are playing, top teams. There will be defeats. But am I worried as well? Absolutely not. No, I just know that they're a really good, strong team. Everybody wants to beat Manchester City, let's be honest, because they're the ones that everybody kind of looks at. But I've got no kind of worries in any way, shape or form.
I'd love to hear that. Well, listen, one player we know is back. Obviously, after that suspension is Rodri. Will he make the starting 11 now he's eligible to play again? Let's find out. FG's got team news.
Yes, welcome back to the Etihad Stadium. It is time to reveal the Manchester City starting lineup to face Brighton. In goal, a bit of a surprise, Stefan Ortega Moreno starts for Manchester City. The captain today is Kyle Walker. And then it is John Stones, great to see him back, Manu Akanji and Josko Vardiol. Back after suspension is Rodri, Bernardo Silva, and then Phil Foden, Jeremy Doku, Julian Alvarez, and of course our number 9, Erling Haaland. The substitutes for Manchester City: Ederson, Diaz, Phillips, Ake, Kovacic, Grealish, Gomez, Nunes and Rico Lewis. Joining me pitchside is a man we haven't seen for a long time. Welcome back to Matchday Live, Andy.
That's great to be back.
First things first, you probably noticed Mr. Andy Morrison here has got a lovely tan. How was life in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, challenging. Yes, but really enjoyed it. Been away for 6 or 7 weeks. We played a couple of games, got a good result in the second fixture. Don't want to talk too much about the first one, but really pleased and made some huge strides over the last couple of years, and it's really promising going forward.
It is promising indeed. Now let's talk about this Manchester City lineup. There's only one place to start really, and it's the goalkeeper. A little bit of a surprise. A lot of people would look at that and think, oh, I thought Ederson would be nailed on, and there's a lot of FPL people, me included, who are going to miss out on a lot of points this weekend. Ortega starts. A bit of a surprise, or just Pep just playing?
Well, we don't know. We don't know the who. Whether there'll be a story afterwards, whether there's a slight concern, an injury, come back with something. Who knows? Nothing's been said. We have seen it in the past after international breaks, but no. Listen, Ortega's a world-class goalkeeper, so we're quite happy with who's in goal today.
He's an absolutely great goalkeeper as well. Brighton are going to make it difficult. They're going to press like they normally do under De Zerbi. The back four looks very promising as well. Ruben Diaz on the bench, but John Stones is back in. How important is he? We know.
Yeah, he's huge. We've seen, over the last sort of year to 18 months, that when he actually steps into midfield and makes that sort of two-man pivot with Rodri, how hard that is to stop. But the key today for me is keeping the ball, because Brighton, more than any other team in the Premier League, will keep the ball for long periods of time. They're quite happy to take chances. They're happy to play through the press, and we may not see the ball for maybe 10-15 passes, which is not like us at home today against you. So we've got to look after the ball.
Now we will have the Brighton team news coming very, very soon for you guys here on Matchday Live. Let's talk about Rodri. He's back in the starting 11. The last few games, if anything, have shown how important he is to us. last time he was at the Etihad, it didn't quite go his way. That was the red card, which led to the 3 games, which we've of course not won. Talk about Rodri, he's so important to us, isn't he?
Listen, it didn't take him missing them last few games for us to understand how important he is. We've been saying it now for a long period of time. The natural progressor to Fernandinho, and he's just got better and better and better. And I think it's not just us with our blue tinted glasses on. I think the football worldwide has acknowledged that he's the best holding midfielder in world football. So any team's going to miss that kind of quality of player, and it's great to have him back. He is pivotal to everything we do, and it's just great to have him back in the team.
It's very relieving, of course. It's also great to see our star boy Phil Foden getting more minutes this year. He's in the starting 11 again today. He's had a great season so far, hasn't he?
He has. He's been exceptional. Probably frustrated that he hadn't played that many games last season, but he's in now. We're looking for somebody that's going to pick the lock. And he's that player at the minute. We've seen David Silva over the years, and whether it's Rodri back in now, somebody that's just got that final moment, that final pass, and Phil Foden certainly brings that to the table.
Well, we've seen the City 11. I do need to mention really quick, of course, it's only right for the people watching from Scotland around the world. Congratulations on the qualification. How happy were you?
Absolutely delighted. I'll be certainly taking a trip out there next year to celebrate with a lot of family and friends, and it's a fantastic achievement, and something that Steve Clarke should be incredibly proud of.
Absolutely, I'm sure as a Scotsman you've enjoyed it very, very much. Let's head back to Kel in the studio with me and Mr. Andy Morrison, who's got a great tan, by the way. We'll be back very, very soon.
Thanks, FG. Speak to you in a little bit, I believe. I don't want to, say too much, but there's a few guests going to be joining FG throughout the show, so keep with us. Andy Morrison as well. Got commentary with Alistair Mann. Just quickly there, international break. Forgot to mention at the start of the show, Scotland qualified. Paul must be delighted.
Go on, Scotia. No, actually, look, Steve Clarke's done an unbelievable job. Scottish football was at its lowest ebb before Steve came in, and he's turned it around. He's got a lot of good players, but Scotland have always had, but never really played as a team, as a squad. And I know through speaking to a lot of the lads, he's created a real club atmosphere when they meet up, and that shows on the pitch. But great achievement, especially with a tough group they were in as well.
Yeah, it was. It was brilliant stuff to see. Let's look at the team then. Dakota, I'll begin with you. When we first put up that starting 11, what did you think, and who do you think could be the difference today against Brighton?
Rodri's back.
Yeah, he's back, maybe.
Yeah, he's one of my favourites. And Doku, I've really took to him. He's pretty impressive, yeah. He's definitely really good, so I'll be watching out for him again today, I think.
We were just saying actually as well, you've been really impressed actually. He's coming, even though he's young, looks quite confident.
Yeah, he's he keeps the ball sometimes, he's not scared to take people on, and I think sometimes we do pass around a lot, which is good, we do that perfectly, but it's nice to see a bit of skill on the ball sometimes. Yeah,
I think Pepe even said that as well, about that old school wing, loves a one-on-one. I mean, Dakota's mentioned it there, and we have to mention it. We've definitely noticed Rodri not being in the starting 11, haven't we, Steve? I mean, it's an obvious question. How key is it having him back, and what is it that we've missed when he's not in the team?
Well, everything that he does. I mean, any team's going to miss, as far as I'm concerned, the best player in the world in his position. I mean, not only does he shield sort of the back four, he's very good at the interceptions, the challenges that he makes, but he's also very, very good with his distribution on the ball. Can get the odd goal as well, a very important goal. But he seems to be a leader out there as well. He dictates play, whether we go quick, whether we go slow. He's just one of these players that, of course, you're going to miss. So just look, the games that he's missed, and look at the results. But I think, as Andy Morrison had said there, absolutely delighted that he's back, and it'll be interesting to see how he does today and how more improved, if without being harsh, more improved the team's going to be, and what the result will be today with him back in the team.
Paul, is it, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, is it a slight concern that for one player to leave this team, suddenly we're noticeably, massively kind of at a disadvantage in a way?
I don't think it's harsh to say it, but you look at the games. The Newcastle game is very tight that he missed in the cup. Obviously the Wolves game we should have won. The Arsenal game is super tight as well. So I don't think you can. I think it's easy for people to say that because Rodri was missing, that's why we lost. There was other factors within that as well, but there's no doubt, as Steve said, he's in that position. He's the best player in the world. And I look at it as well, we've not really had a settled team this year either. You know, Kevin got injured in the first game. Bernardo Silva's been out. Jack's been out, injured. John Stones has been back out. Delighted to see him back today. Rodri's been suspended.
Yes.
You know, so it's not as if Pep's had a full squad of players to pick from yet, and I think maybe that's more a contributing factor than maybe just missing one player in that position.
Great to see John Stones in the starting 11 there. I think as well, as you said, Pep said in his pre-match comments, you know, we've got a fully fit squad for the first time this season, bar King Kevin De Bruyne. John Stones was so key to our success last year, and we've missed him as well a little bit, haven't we, Dakota?
We definitely have missed him a bit, and we have in my household anyway. He's one of the favourites for sure, but he's just so... I mean, he just takes to the position wherever Pep's put him. He's just like, you know, tucks to it straight away. So I'm happy to see him back.
What does Steve, his position you know well? What is it that John Stones brings to this City team, and just how good and how improved has he been, particularly over the last 2 years? I think.
Well, I think he reads the game very, very well. I mean, he's not slow by any means, but he gets himself in positions where he always looks comfortable. He doesn't look harassed. You know, you see some defenders and they're making last-ditch challenges and stuff like that. You don't really see him doing that because he's always in the right place. I'm at the point where, in all fairness, I'm kind of not disappointed because I really love him playing in centre half. But I think the performances that he put in when he went into midfield for me were absolutely awesome.
Yes.
I mean, awesome. You looked at even the Champions League final, and I don't want to go back on like old history, I suppose, but he was astonishingly good. So, I mean, I've followed his career for a long time, you know, when he was obviously, before he even went to Everton, and obviously at Everton, I can remember speaking to Roberto Martinez about him, and he was so impressed with him and thought he could do anything that he wanted. And of course, he's come to Man City and he's absolutely flourishing.
I guess I actually just thought this now when you were saying it. Is there an argument that maybe he could be the man to step in for Rodri, possibly? You know, we know what Calvin Phillips as well, and Pepper said maybe in different types of game, but for the all-round play, it feels like maybe Stones does have the intelligence and the ability to do it.
I love him. All about is missing Rodri. I think we miss John Stones just as much. Defensively, Steve just spoke about him, but when teams are sitting deep against us and waiting for us to come on, he's got the ability as a centre half to get into that midfield, but then draw players out. You know, because he drives at the midfielders that are in there in front of him. He causes problems, he creates overload in there, and he's so good in the ball when he's in that position. And you know, and I think we've missed obviously Rodri, but I think we've missed John Stones. You know, the Wolves game, the Arsenal game, and they get everybody behind the ball. Nobody really in the back four came out and stepped in there to try and drag people out of position and play the killer pass that he can do. But I love him off the pitch and on the pitch. I think he's became a massive cult hero as well.
Yeah.
You know, he's so appreciated by the fans. Just
wanted to quickly pick up on something we were speaking about, Paul. Ortega, who has come into the fold today in our starting 11. Ederson on the bench. We don't know if it might have something to do with him starting in Brazil, Ederson, and the journey back. But we've all said here when it was announced, no City fan is ever not happy to see Ortega and trusts Ortega as well. He's a hell of a number two, and you spent some time with him recently.
Yeah, I did. We done a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he was super impressive. But he was saying that, I was asking him about how is it being a number two. You know, it's difficult if you're a centre half midfielder, striker, and you're on the bench. You know you're always going to get the opportunity to come on the pitch or start at some point. But with a number two goalkeeper, it must be so difficult. And he's just said he's trained his mind in training every day to be the number one. So whenever he's called upon, like today, or in the cup games, or look, it was sensational in the FA Cup run, conceding one goal all the way through. You know, and that's that mentality that keeps him ready. And also, Pep will know that, and that's that trust that if Ederson is in a long journey, that he can put Ortega in, and there won't really be that much difference in there as well. And you know, he loves being in Manchester. He was saying he loves the club already, although it was only last summer they came. And he actually was quite open about talking about clubs wanting them in the summer and him having the opportunity to move in the summer. He said, but he said his family's settled. He said, and for him that's the most important thing. He's settled. He thinks the atmosphere within the squad is the best he's ever seen. Wow. And he's happy when he gets his chance to show everybody what he's all about. It was a real credit, actually.
Fantastic. Well, just again, and another brilliant signing from Cheeky and the team. Dakota, so far this season, as we say, bar those two losses, I just wondered who has been your standout player. Has anyone particularly jumped out to you?
I've got to say Doku again.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely stood out for me this time. Yeah, the new player, and yeah, 100%. He's definitely one that I've picked up on straight away.
The other one I was going to throw into there is Alvarez. He's in the starting 11 again. I mean, he's arguably, I think, been one of the first names on the team sheet. Steve, he's been brilliant in every area as well.
He's one of those players as a defender you do not want to mark, because his movement is excellent. And he's one of them, he likes to drop a little bit deeper as well and pick the ball up, but he gets in those little pockets which, as a defender, you're thinking, well, if I go, I'm leaving a big gap. If I don't go, then he's going to get the ball and turn and hurt you. And we all know that he's so dangerous. We've seen some set players as well, the free kicks and stuff. Top player. I mean, I know there's like obviously speculation about possibly in the summer about other teams looking at him, you know, in Spain. But it's imperative you keep a hold of him, because he is a fantastic player.
He's unbelievable. Feels like he's only going to get better as well. Brighton team news we'll be bringing you in just a second with FGU's pitchside. But they're today's opponents, Paul. Doing unbelievably well. I mean, last season, I think, you know, with a little bit of luck, they could have been pushing for Champions League spot possibly. But they've just picked up where they've left off, even again with losing a couple of key players. We know the football they play. How do you think City approach coming up against this Brighton team that love to attack, that also I think have had out on average more possession than City this season?
Yeah, I don't think City will change how they play. You know, there might be a little tweaks here and there within the formation. You know, and we sit here every match day live and look at the team, and we all wonder who's going to play where. And 99% of the time we're all wrong, because Pep's that good at doing it. But I love watching Brighton play. I think as a club they're so well run over the last few years. You know, not just to stay in the Premier League, which I'm sure their aim was, but qualified for Europe last season.
Yeah.
And you know, they're great to watch. They play attacking football. When they get it right, they're one of the best teams in the Premier League at doing it. The only problem that with Brighton sometimes is if they don't quite get it right, they can get a bit of a hiding, as we've seen Aston Villa conceded 4 a couple of times, 6, but then they've got the capability, like, you know, they should have beat Liverpool the other week there. They've got the capability against the top teams to cause them so many problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Liverpool, actually can bring you a live score update. Salah has scored, so it is 1-0 in the Merseyside derby. There was a sending off for Everton in the first half. Ashley Young with 2 yellow cards. Speaking to you guys, please get in touch with the show. It's really easy. WhatsApp number now on the bottom of your screen. I'll have some of your messages sent in to me here on the iPad, and then a little bit later on in the show, if you've got any questions, maybe you want to make a point that we can pick up on here in the studio, get in touch, or maybe you want to ask Dakota a question, you can do that as well. So just get them in and we'll work through them a little bit later on. Right, we've had a quick look there at team news, so let's go back now and hear from FG. We can see who's the starting 11 as chosen by Roberto De Zerbi for Brighton.
Hello, welcome back to the Etihad. We are pitchside, and I have got the Brighton team news for you. In goal for Brighton is Jason Steele, then it is Julio, Lewis Dunk the captain, James Milner, Solly March, Pedro, Gross, Danny Welbeck, Carlos Baleba, Mitoma and Adingra. The subs are on the screen there for you. I am here, pitchside with Andy Morrison. Andy, we've seen the Brighton side. Let's start with James Milner, a man who City fans will know very, very well, of course, for it. He had a great spell here and then went on to have a great spell at Liverpool, and now here he is at Brighton and he's still playing.
Still going. I mean, he's at 37, 38. Remarkable achievement, and credit to his professionalism. You know, I think now he's played more games than I think any other player in the Premier League. Incredible career, and I hope he gets a nice warm reception from the City fans.
One of those players that sometimes goes under the radar very much, James Milner. He's a hard worker, like you said. He's a sensational professional. I've seen bits with him and Joe Hart. Joe Hart was saying how much of a professional he is, but he offers so much, and he can play in various positions, can't he?
Yeah, it's the experience, the calmness, you know, and just that level head in big games that you need. And you know, whether he can cover the ground like he once did, I doubt it. But you know, he'll play a big part, and make sure that the rest of the players don't get overwhelmed by, you know, coming to the home of the champions.
Now the two managers were talking so much about each other. De Zerbi's got so much respect for Mr. Guardiola, and it's the other way round as well. This Brighton side, they play so much to De Zerbi, and the way that they play, do you think they'll change the way they play today, or do you think it'll very much be still the same formula that they use?
I think they'll be themselves, but you've always got to be slightly respectful for City and go about things in a slightly different way. Will they take the chances? Will the detail in the press from City be so strong that they'll think we're occasionally going to have to miss that and maybe go slightly longer? But you know, whatever said and done, they're going to keep the ball. They're going to try and play. I think Lewis Dunk over the last 2 or 3 seasons is in the top 5 of touches per game by any player in the league, so that tells you really the way they structure and the way they build up play from the back. But you know, listen, it's going to be a tough game for them, and if they're not at it, then City will create lots of chances.
And of course, we have to talk about one man we just spoke about off camera, which is Solly March. Now, this man goes under the radar a lot. He's a fantastic player.
They do, FG. There's a conveyor belt of players that leave Brighton that we forget about. And it's like, he was there 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and they just keep producing them. And Solly March is one of them players that you said goes under the radar. He's technically so strong. He's quicker than what he's given credit for, and he chips in with goals. So, yeah, an exceptional talent, but again, just a part of. In many ways, the way Brighton do things, there's players that do go under the radar because they're so rhythmical in the way they play, and then players don't get the credit they deserve. But for me, I think he'll be the next one that'll move on, him or Matomo, because they just keep producing top players.
Well, yeah, he's been at Brighton for a long time, and one man who's actually, we just mentioned then, has just signed a new deal, and that is Matoma. I mean, everybody raves about this man, and rightly so.
Yeah, I like it. Listen, as a defensively minded coach, I love wide players that'll take people on, who exceptional pace. I loved when Doku came into the team. I love when we signed him, because it's that moments that can change the direction of a game when you can create one-on-one situations. Matomo for Brighton can do that. Whether it comes up against Kyle and thinks you can run Kyle, that's a different story altogether. But yeah, he's incredibly talented.
Absolutely. We're looking at this Brighton team. One other man I've got to mention is Danny Welbeck. A man who, again, he left Manchester United and sort of was written off quite a few times when he went away elsewhere. But he's reignited himself, and he looks like a fixture in the side now as well.
Yeah, perhaps some old school qualities in his physicality and his strength. Holds the ball up well, and again, he'll be a major threat in behind as well as physically.
And on the bench, very quickly, is Billy Gilmore, another Scotsman. I know we're talking about Scotland a lot today. Thoughts on him? He's, again, left Chelsea to get first team football. Is part of a fantastic setup here, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's in a team that'll play football. He's a team that'll want to dominate the ball, and that's his greatest strength. Physically, he's not huge. Is he going to make into the box and score goals? I don't know, but he can keep the ball, and that's the identity of Brighton under De Zerbi.
Well, plenty of football to play soon. Kick-off is fast approaching. Let's head to Kel, who's in the studio.
Nice one, FG. Thank you for joining us. If you've just tuned into Match Day Live, we've just brought you there the Brighton starting 11. We've talked about how well they've done just then before we looked at the team. Paul, how are they going to come and play? Do you think, FG asked it, but will they still go and try and play the expansive, attacking, possession-based football, or do you think there'll be maybe a bit of tweaks from De Zerbi?
I think it's against De Zerbi's principles and how he sets his team up to maybe change, but Big Andy said there in the interview that they'll have to show City a bit of respect as well. If you look at the game a couple of weeks ago, the last away game, I think they lost 6 at Villa, and they played expansive. They were great to watch, but as I said before, if there's one little thing that doesn't go right in how they play, they're so open to be attacked. But I'm looking forward to seeing the game here last year, and it was a really good game to watch because they came, they pressed, and when they got the ball, they were really attacking with it as well at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see how they set up. And surprised Evan Ferguson's not playing today. Me and Steve were talking about it on the floor. He's a top young player, but still with João Pedro, who's a record signing as well. Scored a few goals already this season. There'll be a huge threat. And then I'm sure James Milner will get another fantastic reception when he comes back to the Etihad again.
Yeah.
But where's he going to play? It'll be interesting to see how they set up.
I guess for City fans, Dakota, it's nice, isn't it? Because we're so used to seeing the teams come and just put 2 banks of 5 and us having to try and break that down. The idea of a team coming and playing attacking football and coming at us, it should make for an exciting game. We don't see it much, do we?
We don't, no, we don't. And the team do seem to get a little bit frustrated as it goes on if we don't get success. But hopefully they will come forward for us a little bit today, and we'll be able to see a good game. But
we mentioned as well before when we said no Ferguson, but Welbeck of course as well. I mean, I'm sure he'll be wanting to get a few goals against us probably.
I'm sure he will. Yeah, he'll still have that little bit of a bitterness towards us, won't he?
Yeah.
Even though he's with Brighton now.
Fingers crossed. I mean, you will talk about our defence, so you'd like to think in the form of Stones and even Guardiola as well. Actually, I think he's been brilliant as well. What have you made of him since the start of the season?
Yeah, no, I think he's been perfect as well. To be honest, he's had some really strong moments. So we'll see what happens today.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We can see there some of the Brighton players. We can actually, before we do a little focus on them more, as we know, there's been a lot of nice words and a lot of respect between De Zerbi and Guardiola. And here is what Guardiola had to say about Brighton's first team coach.
A lot of managers that I learned a lot watching them. One of Roberto. for sure. When I see his teams, I like this, I like that. So they make it, when the keeper has the ball, they play with 11 players with Roberto, and we try to do with 11 players. They make the big beach so big. It's 80 meters. The distance between the strikers or wingers, between the keeper, is like this. It's not like this. So to defend that when it's so big is difficult. And after they make a good patterns to avoid it. So that's why they have success. It's not because I'm friend from Roberto. I consider it. I have a good relation. My friend is, maybe it's a big word because we don't see each other much, but sometimes we talk. But I think I have a good relation with him. Is the fact that because they have success, not because he's my friend. It's because they do really, really good things, and that's why they are able to do. That's why it's a big challenge for us, and we're going to try.
A lot of respect there and admiration for De Zerbi from Pep, and we know that it's the same back. I think De Zerbi's even said, that Pep's been a big influence on his career. He will be wanting to get the win today, Steve. And who are some of the players that we need to be wary of that could hurt City?
Well, I mean, if you look at De Zerbi, and I know he's getting some praise there of arguably the best manager ever, but he likes to play expansive football, he likes to play attacking football. I think sometimes De Zerbi's kind of thought process is the best form of defence is attack. But of course, Welbeck, who, people think, maybe he's getting on a bit, or he's certainly been about a bit. Mm-hmm. I know he's had his injuries, but he's still a problem.
Yes.
He's big, he's strong, he's aggressive, but we all know about Matoma as well, who's just signed his contract. I mean, what a player he is. Grob can get the odd goal as well. You've got Solly Marsh in there, João Pedro, as Dickie's mentioned.
Yep.
They're a threat. And obviously the threat from set players, especially when you've got somebody like Dunk in there. And of course they've got Ewan Ferguson to look at on the bench as well, who, 19, 20?
Yeah.
Huge prospect. This is going to be a difficult game, there's no doubt about it, because they do pose a threat, not only from set players, but just in open player. But as Dickie said, sometimes one slight thing mightn't just click for them, and they are wide open. Mm-hmm. And then if they are wide open, they can get exposed. I think one thing is, yes, Brighton do have to make sure that they have give Manchester City respect, because if they don't and they do play really open sort of football, they'll get punished.
Yeah. We've been talking about, of course, as you mentioned there, some of the attacking players. Defensively, though, as well, they're going to have to, make sure they're as tight as possible when you're coming up against, we're thinking probably Foden, Doku, and of course, the main man, Haaland, who has, I'm not saying he's struggling, but hasn't had the goals that we've used to been seeing, but that's because the way teams are setting up against him. Brighton are going to have to do the same.
Yeah, of course they are, and look, that makes me laugh. He's not getting the goals that we're all thinking. He's still the top goal scorer with 8 goals already, and he's getting the chances, and he'll keep putting himself in the positions to get the chances, and it's only a matter of time before he goes in another ridiculous run where he gets 7 goals in 3 games, because that's what he's capable of.
Yeah.
But talking about Brighton's defence, I mean, we think Ederson and Stefan Ortega today like to play out from the back. Wait to see Jason Steele. The risks that he takes is ridiculous. Dakota was saying before that Ederson still makes her a little bit nervous. I think he does with it all. But Jason Steele, he literally comes out and plays like a sweeper, centre half, and he's fantastic on the ball. But keep going back to that Villa game, the last away game, where they get battered, and because he wants to play out that much, it caused them so many problems. Yeah. If that's going to happen today and we press them up high, they could be in for a right hiding.
With that, I mean, do you then, as the manager, have to just kind of go, look, we know what you want to do and how the team play, but you have to be smart about when you do it and when you don't.
They do, but they'll do it all the time. Honestly, I'll be so surprised if they go long at any point today. The start of every single or majority of their attacks is Jason Steele coming out and playing out from the back. Centre halves will split like fullbacks. The fullbacks will go so far up the pitch. Matoma will tuck inside, and Pep said that they make the pitch so big. But when you're doing that, Steve, you tell defensively, you've got to be so switched on. Because if it breaks down, there's gaps everywhere.
Yeah.
I was going to say Steele's going to do what the manager asks him to do. Yes, he's comfortable on the ball, but he does take risks. If you look at Man City's last game against Arsenal and Raya, he just didn't look comfy, but he was still getting the ball and he was still trying to play out. And every time, I think there was Alvarez one time closed him down and nearly scored from it. But Steele's the same. He takes chances, and as I said, if you can shut them down and shut the options off, then you can squeeze them right up and cause them problems. But as I said, sometimes it's for me. Sometimes for Brighton, it's like a risk and reward type thing. But if it doesn't come off, you're causing some problems for yourself.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed we'll be able to capitalise on those problems if they present themselves. Now, we are here in the Etihad Stadium, and we know we've got a hell of a game in front of us as we take on Brighton. And what a day in fixture this would be to make your first trip to the Etihad. Well, that is exactly what Adam and Mandy have done. They've come all the way from across the pond in the United States, and FG is joined by them now, and we can get their thoughts and feelings about being here for their first trip to the Etihad Stadium. What a day.
Yes, it is with great pleasure to say I am joined by Adam and Mandy. Wait till you hear this one. Winners of the My Premier League Wish campaign, which has brought you guys to the Etihad for the first time. Mandy, I'll start with you. Explain to me how you felt when you found out you'd won it.
Unreal. It does not feel real. It still doesn't feel real. We're standing here. It's just an amazing feeling.
Okay, and Adam, first time at the Etihad Stadium. I know that you travelled yesterday in the Manchester weather, which was the storm and the rain.
Oh yeah.
How good does it feel to be here?
Oh man, I can't even put it into words. I'm so happy and just elated. Like, I'm ready for the game to start, ready to cheer on our team and see a win. 3-0, I'm calling it.
I love the confidence. We absolutely love that. We are so happy to have you here. I want to ask you what your experiences and your memories of Manchester City, your early memories, etc. We'll start with you.
I'm a new fan thanks to him, and it's the best team. That's all I can say.
I started watching soccer, football, when I was a child, and I quickly grew into Man City. And I guess it really solidified it more as when Kun Aguero, took it home with the 93-20, that goal. Ever since then, it's just been embedded in me. Like I've been a forever City fan.
And what about football where you are, Manchester City where you are as a whole? How many supporters are there from there? Is it a new phenomenon and you guys are going to start flying the flag?
So we actually, this is our capital city blues. So this is our chapter in up in DC, where that's pretty big. It's pretty massive. But where I'm at in Virginia Beach, very little. But I want to actually kind of get started and do my own chapter. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, anyone watching around the world, you need to find Adam and Mandy. All right, quickly, who are you most excited to watch today?
Haaland.
I got to go with my man Rodri.
You're a fan of Rodri?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Rodri.
He's back from suspension.
I know it.
You said the score's going to be 3-0.
I'm taking 3-0.
And Mandy, what about yourself?
I'll be different and say 2-1.
Well, listen,
Man City, obviously.
You're more than welcome at the Etihad whenever. I hope you guys have a great day. We are pitchside for their first time ever at the Etihad Stadium. And have a great day. Great to catch up.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Oh, what a wonderful thing. Well, to Adam and Mandy, a very warm welcome. Enjoy your first trip to the Etihad Stadium. Definitely, hopefully, won't be your last. And fingers crossed the boys in blue will bring you that all-important City win. Right, we want you to be involved in this show, and how you do that is by sending us WhatsApp questions. And we can go to a few right now. We're going to bring them up on the bottom of the screen and see what you've been asking. So, this first one came in from... just like that. There we go. Alex Stevens. And this is about Haaland. He says, last season he showed how good he is. But recently it looks like teams have figured out how to mark him. How can he improve his game to be back on his top form? Obviously we're saying there, maybe we think his form's still there. But will he have to change the way, possibly, his movements, if he has got two defenders on him every game?
I don't think so, Kel. His movement is unbelievable. Even when he's... he makes runs, he makes a lot of unselfish runs as well, to create space for other players. We watch him, and obviously being a forward, I watch him more than I watch the centre-halves at sometimes, and he is always on the move. He must be a nightmare for centre-halves to pick up, because if they're playing a back two, he plays in between, he causes that problem itself. He runs in behind, he comes short, when the ball goes wide, he's always on the move. You see the goals, he's nudging defenders to get half a yard. And I'm not worried at all about it. I said already, he's got 8 goals, he could have had 15. He's just been unlucky with some of the chances that he's missed. He'll openly admit himself that he's missed a few chances that he should have done by his standards. But this team will keep creating chances. And when you've got the instinct that he's got, when you're the best number 9 in that position that he plays in the world, you're going to score goals. Yeah, he's going to get a hatful today, I'm telling you.
I love that.
Do you know the daft thing about that is, well, not that it's a daft question, I'm not saying that it is that he's going to score goals. It's as simple as that. He's just a born goal scorer. But I think, if you'd ask defenders, and Haaland was actually thinking, do I have to change what I'm doing? Defenders will be thinking, please change what you're doing, because you are a nightmare to work against. Because it's not just the runs, because as a defender you're looking, he's one of these defenders he's one of these forwards where he's physical.
Yeah.
And he'll drag a defender Like if the defender's in front of him, he drags them, so he pushes them behind him and stuff like that. Defenders hate playing against him.
Yeah.
And he mightn't score, and the defender will think, well, I've done my job because he hasn't scored. But he's created so much other stuff going on, and defenders know 100% when they've come off the pitch, they have had a right old battle.
It's funny, even when we was reading that question, I could see you just smiling and shaking your head. I mean, he's a tour de force, isn't he?
I mean, he really is, but I feel sorry for him sometimes. Like, he set the standard so high for himself at the start that people now seem to think that he's not performing how he should. He's still performing just as good as every other player. It's just that he over-exceeded, like, in the first place, you know. So actually, his level is very high. It's not an easy position, and you know, people are going to be on him all the time. But he is still playing well. We need to remember that.
No, you're right. Well,
a bit of slack.
he's still the Premier League top scorer so far. And I mean, you'll know as well. I mean, as an athlete, you know, is it difficult that when you do, as you say, maybe sometimes you have them times when you almost take it to a whole new level, that then the comparison is made to that level when actually the one behind it is still just as high in a way?
Yeah, I mean, there'll be no one harder than himself. Like, you see it on his face, you know, when he misses, you can see how much it means to him and how much, you know, he wants to score and wants to perform, and the pressure that he'll be feeling from himself will be more than any of us, you know, wanting him to score. So really, like, it's not that he's not trying, he's, you know, it's a lot for him to keep up with, and I totally understand how he feels.
Yeah, of course. Actually, I think, Dakota, we've got a question we can put to you. Great one from Lewis. If Dakota could compete in any other sport, what would it be and why? Good question.
Something that's got high adrenaline for sure. It's got to be a high adrenaline sport. I'd like to do I do a bit of motocrossing.
Nice.
On a bike.
Yeah.
So maybe do a little bit of that. Something
okay. Something that's getting the adrenaline pumping.
Something dangerous.
Though.
Yeah. Something that my parents wouldn't be able to sit and chill with.
okay, yeah. That's a good answer.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm going to put that to you guys as well, Steve. If you hadn't been a footballer, was there any other sport that kind of you were drawn to?
I know we should change that question, because you said to Dakota as an athlete. You didn't say that.
No, I know. Absolutely. I don't think you'd say that both of us, to be quite honest.
As a footballer.
No, for me it was just football. If I didn't have football, I honestly just don't know what I would do. I mean, I do know that there was an answer. I think Peter Grouse gave a great answer to that. I think it was a binman as well, something like that. But no, I mean, I'm not like Dakota. I'm not an adrenaline junkie, and I'm not a fighter, to be quite honest. I'm just like somebody that likes a peaceful life. But yeah, I think for me personally, I think I struggle. I think you could be in the fighting thing, because I think he just loves, he just loves to wind people up.
I reckon so as well. Yeah.
He causes an argument in Emily house. That's how bad he is.
I had enough fights in the pit, so I'm done with that.
Done that.
I would love to have been a golfer. I love my golf.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to be a golfer.
I love my golf now, but and that, I think when you're in a team sport, it's different, isn't it? Than individual, and we were lucky enough to get our teammates, but I would like to step out of the comfort zone and have a solo sport that you've got to look after yourself, the mental side of it and everything else, because it must be, you know, when you're in the changing room, your teammates are not going well for you, you're relying on your teammates to help you out a little bit, and vice versa, because you know if they're having a bad time, you're going to help them out.
Of course.
But when you're in an individual sport, it's all about you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because that's it's a whole different pressure and I guess a whole different discipline and mindset. How is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's all down to me. When I step in that cage, it doesn't matter like who's helped me in camp. You know, I have to perform and do the job there on my own. Like, there's no one to help me once that cage door locks. It's closed. So
is that part of the adrenaline that you get from it as well, though?
I think so, yeah. Because I think as soon as I step foot in the cage, that's when I don't really remember anything past that. So like that's when I just totally like zone out into a different person. So I think I'm just that much into it that I don't remember.
Yeah, you kind of book it. I guess as well, then outside of that as well, then your team and the support around you is important, because you are so isolated when it comes to the sport itself.
Yeah, definitely. To get to that point, I couldn't do it without the support. Like, it's a total, fighting life is a total different world, honestly. Like, people think it's even boxing and things like that, people think it's an easy sport, like, oh, we're just training every day, then we get in and we fight, and if you can fight, you can fight, but it's not. Honestly, it's a crazy sport. It's different, very different.
Yeah, and of course the time, the dedication you have to put into it, Hernandez, that's a testament to why you're in the position that you're in, Dakota. Well, I don't know if any of you might have wanted to give snowboarding a try, but I'm saying that because it's the perfect way to segue into Scotty James. Of course, Olympian snowboarder. He is down with FG pitchside. Let's see what he had to say.
Yes, thank you, Kel. I'm absolutely delighted to say I am joined pitchside by an absolute legend, Scotty James.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, mate. What brings you to the Etihad?
I'm at the Etihad today, to watch some good football. It's my first game, which is exciting, and I'm here with my partner, OKX. So yeah, it's been really great so far. Looking forward to seeing the atmosphere.
Now, a massive shout out to OKX, because I understand that this man, listen to this one, playing golf with a certain person involved with Manchester City. Who was that?
It was played with Pep, the manager, and I was saying before, he was annoyingly good. We had a little putting contest and a chipping contest, and he pretty much cleaned me up within the first few rounds. But so I'm looking forward to seeing him in action today.
Do you play much golf as a whole then? And were you expected to turn up and maybe, do a bit on Pep?
I think he also tried to play it down as if, I don't play that often. It's just a casual hobby, but I think it's something he's doing. Maybe even more golf than managing Man City, I think. He played very well, but no, it was really fun, and I was probably expected to show up and play better than I did, but, I was against some good competition.
Well, even if he's half as good a golfer as he is a manager, I imagine he's unbelievable. Let's talk about snowboarding. You spent the majority of your life snowboarding. First things first, how did you get into it?
I got into it. It's always been a big passion of my family, and I was really fortunate when I was young to travel overseas and pursue it as a profession. My dad loved it, so it was kind of just in my family's interests and passions, and I tagged along and enjoyed it.
What point was it, because I know that you made a lot of sacrifices to get to where you are today, but what point was it I could actually make a career out of this?
I probably we decided I would start pursuing it as a profession when I was about 12, so yeah, quite young, and probably similar to football. You become a prodigy at a young age, and you get kind of picked up and seen and taken on the world circuit, which is the same as what happened with me in snowboarding. So yeah, I would say as of about 12 till now, it's been over travelling and pursuing snowboarding as a profession.
And you also did a bit of the Olympics, didn't you? You were a flag bearer in 2018. How was that experience?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. We were just saying before, I was like, it would be amazing to perform in in front of a big crowd like this, and I was saying that it's the closest thing I've ever come to is walking into the opening ceremony of an Olympic Games into a big stadium, and the adrenaline and the thrill is like nothing else. So I can imagine it's very similar for these guys, which is cool.
Who are you most looking forward to seeing out on the pitch today? We see the goalkeepers behind us warming up right now, but who are the ones that you're excited to watch?
I mean, I probably sound cliche saying this, but obviously Haaland is someone I really want to watch, and I saw he was in the lineup today, so I'm excited to watch that. And as I said, first game, so I'm now a Man City through and through fan. And looking forward to watching everything unfold.
I'm on a mission to find this man a City scarf by the end of the day as well. Let me just talk to you real quick. So obviously, to be a snowboarder, you've got to be quick, you've got to be athletic, you've got to be agile. Which one of the City players would you back to be good at your profession?
I mean, Grealish has got the hair for it. He's got the long hair. Looks like he's got a laid-back approach, so I'd probably pick him, honestly. He looks like he could fit into the snowboarding scene.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, Scotty. Thank you so much. Maybe we'll see Jack snowboarding at some point. In our studio, we've also got Dakota. I want to know from you, in your profession, who you're backing from the City 11 to do a little bit.
Next one, FG. I will leave that to the professionals, I think. If you've just joined us, thanks for tuning in. We've got 19 minutes until kick-off. The teams are just finishing up their final warm-ups here on the pitch behind us. Brighton are today's opponent. We've now got a little game for us in the studio. Nice, a little bit of fun. A classic game of higher or lower, but we're doing it around headers because I'm sure you will have seen, but if you didn't, in our women's team last week scored 5 goals, 5 headers. So we thought we're going to do it around that. We'll bring in the starting one, which is Erling Haaland, and it's very simple. We just need to go along the line, and we'll do it. You can do it as a team on whether we think their player next scored more or less headers. Okay. Haaland 21 goals with his head. Has Aguero scored more or less, higher or lower
throughout their career?
I was going to say, yeah.
Or is it just for Man City?
No, not just City. Throughout their whole career is the stipulation. Yeah, throughout their whole career.
Right.
I thought Haaland would have had more. I did think Haaland would have had more. So is Aguero higher or lower? Do we think, guys?
I would have gone. He's only short, isn't he?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Should I say
There's diving headers, you know.
Okay, go on. We need an answer, higher or lower.
I would have thought the amount of goals that Aguero scored, you'd have thought it'd be higher.
Be higher. Right?
We're saying higher. It's higher. 38. Up next, Edin Dzeko. Edin Dzeko, higher or lower goals in his career?
I don't know. Maybe.
Heading.
I'm going to go. Are you going to go higher?
I think so. I don't.
Go on. You can go. You can.
You're going higher.
What are you saying? Lower. He's going to go.
I would have thought
scored a lot of goals on it.
He has. Yeah.
With his head, I don't know from what I remember.
He's
with his head, yeah.
Tall, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying higher.
Higher. We're going higher. It's higher.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
64. All right. Up next, the big man, Vincent Kompany.
It's got to be lower than.
Lower.
Lower. We're saying lower. Boom. All right. We're on 3 out of 3. Now over to John Stones.
What?
Higher or lower?
Then 11 or
then
21. Okay.
I'd have thought lower.
Going lower.
With his
Sticking
head.
on the roll.
See, I can think of 3 off the top of my head.
Yeah, but that's just 3. It's got 11.
Recently. Okay, and you go.
Steve, do you want to go with Steve?
I think I'll go with lower.
I don't know this one.
So you going with? You want to say lower?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going lower. Let's
I
see.
think I'm wrong though.
Well in,
wow.
Steve.
Lower.
Wow. All right, 10. Then we come to you, Steve. Did you score more or less
In my career,
Then 10.
than 10 in your career?
I know for a fact I scored more than 10. I know
Look
for a
at
fact.
that confidence.
Right.
But
I hope Callum in the library has got these stats right.
We will prefix this with.
I'm just thinking, yeah.
Behind the scenes, we've got Callum directing
And Mark,
today, and we've
yeah.
got producer Mark. So that's who we're holding to account. But you're saying you'd know, Steve.
High.
well, I know. So if this is lower, the lads that done these need to look in the mirror. By the way, never in a million years. Shocking.
Who?
Score more than that here.
How many was it, Steve? Do you reckon? More than 10 anyway.
I'd have getting about 15, 16.
15, 16
All
headers.
together.
Yeah.
This is going to get interesting.
He's done your dirty there. He's done your real dirty.
To be fair, they've probably done all the other research. So
Not right. They've done research, but they haven't done it right.
But I'd like to think that the rest of the game will be gravy from here on out.
Yeah, I'm not too sure now.
I'm not too sure either, Paul. Well, let's find out. Julian Alvarez, has he scored more or less than Steve said?
I've lost. I'm out the game. I'm not playing now. I'm not having.
Dakota Report, do you reckon more or less from Julian Alvarez? Higher or lower?
His head.
Yeah.
I'm going to go higher. 7's a bit low.
Isn't it just? I was prolific.
Going lower? We're going lower. Oh, no, did you say higher or lower? Sorry.
Lower.
I said higher, but
Oh,
I
you
got it
said
wrong
lower.
anyway.
I'm sure you said lower.
Okay.
That can't be trusted anyway. She just
It's nonsense. Yes.
Bernardo Silva, has he scored more or less with his head? Higher or lower?
I'll go higher.
I think higher.
Let's go higher.
We'll go higher.
In the Champions League.
Here we go. 8 for Bernardo Silva.
How can Bernardo Silva get more headers than me? His waist height on me. It just goes to show how much of a shambles this game is.
Kevin De Bruyne, higher or lower than 8?
Higher.
I would go lower.
Oh,
Can't remember.
stand
Can't
off.
remember what's
Okay, let's go
going on.
lower. I mean, we can't. He's the professional, not me.
We'll follow Paul. We're going to
Gotta
say
go with
lower.
Paul.
Okay, we're all right. We've only got 2 wrong so far. This is all right. So, I mean, Paul, we're coming to now. Another man who knows how many headed goals he's scored in his career. Paul, have you scored more or less than 3 headed goals in your career?
If this is lower, if this is not higher by a significant amount, this goes to show how much of an absolute shambles this is.
Shambles.
Paul, how many goals?
It's 100% higher.
100% higher?
Oh, rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Come on, let's go. I was going to go before. Research. Embarrassing.
Research. What am I?
I don't know where you're looking. I don't know where you two are looking.
To our guests, I can only apologise. You just can't get the stuff sometimes.
I reckon I would have got higher than this.
Yeah, you scored more than 2.
What will you do if Sean Wright Phillips has scored more than you with his head?
I'm going home, I'm not coming back.
He definitely has.
Shall we find? If they've done you dirty here,
I'm going lower.
I'm going high.
We've got to claw it back somehow. Sean Wright Phillips. Right, at least.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
Right,
gents, I can.
Callum, can we never ever do a game like this again, please?
Well, we can do something like that, but as long as you do your research properly, then obviously we can get proper answers rather than that.
I'm gonna speak to the staff. FG is in hospitality with some very lucky fans, because one of the great schemes, numerous ones that City have, is around our citizens match day members, and FG is joined by some now. I can only apologise, gents.
Okay, I'm in the Legends Lounge, and this is very, very special. I'm about to go and surprise 2 Manchester City fans who've been supporters for 50 years. We've got gifts for them, and they've also won a Citizens competition. Let's go. I see them. They have no idea we're on the way. This is what it's all about. This is absolutely amazing. Hello. Hello, Margaret and Wendy. Am I right in thinking it's Wendy?
Yes.
Well, my name is FG. Lovely to speak to you all. You're on Matchday Live right now. I believe you were the one who nominated Margaret for this.
I did nominate Margaret for it, yes. Yeah. We're lifelong City fans, and we bonded over football. We started working together and realised we were both staunch City fans.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to speak to you both. Tell me what this club means to you, Margaret.
Oh, it means everything. I mean, it's a family thing as well. My dad, my mum, you know, my mum's in her 90s now, and her room in the care home is plastered with City memorabilia.
I believe there is a bit of a history of City memorabilia, isn't there? Someone's garden is decorated in City colours.
He's got a garden gnome with a City shirt over his head. Everywhere you go, it's City.
Flag in my garden, which goes down really well in the neighbourhood that I live in, because it's a bit red.
Well, keep flying that flag. Let's talk about your journey as City supporters really quickly. How did it all start? You said that you bonded through watching football together.
No, we worked together, and then we realised we were both City supporters, and we kind of started going to games from them. Yeah,
I've been going since probably the 1960s. The days when you could just walk in and go, and it was family for me. I was brought up surrounded by City supporters, and then, like I say, we realised that we both had this passion, and we're getting as many games as we can do.
Now, I have to ask you as well, we're so lucky at the minute to watch the football we're watching. The growth and the journey of this football club has been amazing, but one thing that you touched on just before is the family vibe about the club. The club has just not changed its identity at all, has it?
No, it's still a family club, I think. You know, they encourage children to come. I'm here with my grandson for the young boys game in Kate's Bar. So, yeah, I have to encourage my grandchildren. They've got one granddad that's a red, and I won't have it.
No, can't have it. My son lives in Oslo, and he knows over there how big Haaland is, and he's still a City supporter. He's been over there 10 years, but he's still a staunch City supporter. Nothing's going to change that in our family. Like Margaret, my dad was, my sister, my brother-in-law, and that's how I started coming when I was about 10 or 11, and it's just something that's carried on. I love it, every game. Very passionate, very passionate.
Well, your son's from Oslo. he obviously knows about Erling Haaland. You guys have the pleasure of watching this squad, and of course Manchester City couldn't just let you sit in hospitality without a special gift for both of you. We've got a little signed shirt from the squad from both of you to present to you.
Amazing, thank you so much. Oh my God.
Wow, thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
Very special now, very special.
Oh, my grandson is going to be knocked out with this.
It's going in a frame. It's going in a frame. Nobody's touching it.
Well, honestly, on behalf of everyone at Manchester City, genuinely you're the spine of this football club. So thank you so much. We hope you enjoy the game today. Before we head back, let me get a quick score prediction.
3-1 City.
4-1.
Well, listen, have a lovely day. Thank you for entering. For everyone watching at home, the Citizens competition winners are here. You can get involved in the Citizens draw, mancity.com. Enter the competition and you might just get lucky as well.
You heard FG, if you want to maybe enjoy a day out like that at the etihadmancity.com and become a part of them Citizens members. Right, gents, it's flown by and Dakota, so I only have time now to ask for quick predictions, please. Dakota, how can you see this going?
3-1.
3-1, that's what I said, lovely, love that.
3-1.
I was going to go for exactly the same score, 3-1.
3-1?
I'll go 4-1.
4-1, nice. Okay, confident here. The boys are in the tunnel, and a quick word. We're going to pay a quick tribute, of course, to the passing of club legend Francis Lee. Paul.
Yeah, fantastic man. Loved the club. The main reason I signed here, I was going to sign for Southampton. I'm from Arsenal, and he called me up and said, "Just give me the opportunity to speak to you." Graham Souness wasn't too happy because I told him I was signing and never turned up. And literally turned round and drove to Manchester and signed that day. Great guy. God bless him.
God bless him. Yeah. Well, we want to send all our love and thoughts to, of course, his family, and just to express again the love, appreciation, admiration all City fans and everyone in the club has for Francis Lee is there and will be forever. Thank you, Franny.
Well, it's so unusual for City to come back into a match off the back of 2 straight league defeats that it's sometimes hard to assess their mood coming into a game like this, particularly as there's been a 2-week interlude for international fixtures.